Welcome to my video of buying the Hunslet 16mm narrow gauge locomotive. This is the chassis. To start off you need to file, clean up all the edges around, everywhere around the holes, everywhere you can. Then what you need to do is make sure that these slots here, they've got a slight shape to them. So what happens is, when you've got the wheel just about want to go in, so what happens is when you push down they clip in place. So you can replace the bearings later on, and you can set the wheels up out of the chassis. To get them out is just as easy. Just pop out. So what we want to do then is clean that up, file the holes to make sure that these clip in to place on both sets. Once you've done that, you cleaned it up, paint it black, and the colour of your choice of the buffer beams. So put it to one side. The wheel sets do not come set to 32mm, they're set at 45. So using my jig, you set one side up 10mm. What you do, you push that in there, push the other wheel on until tight against each other. Make sure they're 10mm either side. Once you've got 10mm, take the jig out, the wheel is set. Same with this one. I set that up again with the wheel and gear inside. If you want, I can set these up for you at home if you do not want to tackle this. I will charge a couple of quid if you really want me to set them up. Or it might be really nice. So yeah, once you use your jig, chuck it away. So it does hold the gear inside there as well, so you can centralise it to the axle. So once you've got that set up, you painted your chassis, you can then clip the wheels in place like so. They're nice and loose because there's no bearings in. And what you do then is you get your tiny little 1/8 bearings, slide them on so they're flush with the chassis. Same with this side. Push them on all the axles. Like so. You can glue them in, but as long as they're nice and push fit and the wheels run lovely and free, I won't worry about it. If you need to take them off for some reason, you can leave them like that. Now we're fitting the cranks. You've got two with short, two with long. Two short go at the front, which is where the cylinders go. What you do, push them in so the axle is just slightly coming out from the back. You can see that, just slightly coming out. Get the big one, install that like so. You've got 2 axles on that side. Right, let's do the other side. Again, take the short one, making sure that it is roughly quarter. Tighten that, make sure it runs free, could be a little bit looser than that. Lovely. Same with this one, making sure the cranks are the same way. Hasn't got to be perfect just yet. Making sure you've got a little bit of side play. And there. So there is the wheel set up, ready to roll. What we want to do now, your 2 cranks, connecting rods, sorry. What you need to do is clean them up with a file. You don't have to paint them, you can leave them as they are, and make sure that these holes are deburred and cleaned up for these little 2mm bushes. As you put a bush inside, it needs to have a little bit of wobble, otherwise it will jam when trying to get it to run properly. So, you put 2 bushes in from the back. As you can tell, it's got a slight indent on there, little step. That's the front, what you see, and they go on the back. You slide them on. Get your tiny 2mm half nut. Put them on the front only, not the back, just the front. So you do that to both of them. So you need to make sure that these bushes do have a little bit of side play. Making sure they go in. Keeps falling out. Slide that on. Grab another 2mm nut. Slide that on. Do them up. Perfect straight away. Absolutely brilliant. If you can get that, happy days. So you may have to just do a slight adjustment on one crank, but you want to make sure they are 90 degrees of each other. There's not really much, I can say about that really. Right, so now they're on, it's time to fit the cylinders. They come with a tube already installed, so you know the front of the cylinder. You've got 2 holes in there and 2 holes in the back of that cylinder. What you do is you push that in so it's right up and flush against that edge. You get 2 of these bolts, which are Allen key. Put them in. If you can't fit the bolts because hands are too big or just physically can't get them in, you can glue them on. But I do recommend painting the cylinders first, black or black at the sides and colour of the bodywork. Some do, some don't. I prefer black. The other cylinder on. Right, so that, 2 cylinders pointing down to that. So that's your chassis setup. Now, you want 2 of them and the connecting rods from the piston. They are countersunk on that edge there for a tiny little screw, which is them, and the little tiny countersunk screws. Push them in, making sure they're loose, not tight fit. Slide them inside there, making sure there's plenty of play. You may have to file, I'll show you on this one, you may have to file around the edge to make sure it misses inside of that. So you fit that in there. Keep dropping the screws, they are tiny. Now you don't want to do it too tight, you want them loose, so you can put a spot of Loctite on that to stop that from falling off ever again. Do that to both. Just nip it up, nice and loose. Now you want to take your 2mm rod, slide that, they do go in, inside, so can't really see it now. You can put these in first if you like, so they're flush with inside there. Big, and then a little dab of super glue on that edge. Same with that one. Don't go too far, so it presses against that. So you now got two of them. As you bring back the chassis, what we do then, slide this thing in, like so, slide it over the rear axle, another 2mm bush, slide that over so it looks like that. Get another 2mm nut. So it looks like that. Happy days, that works. Same with this one. Slide that on. Again, 2mm bush on the back. Slide that over. Nip that up. Bit of Loctite on these two to make sure they don't come off. Got yourself a rolling chassis. Don't want to fit the motor yet because you want to make sure everything is running lovely and free before anything else happens. But so now you know that all runs okay. Take these two off again. See. So now you know it happy, it all runs nice and smooth. Don't want to go too far. Let's take them off. You want to get your cylinder covers, two rear ones. We've got, you can see little notches on the top and bottom, which is where the slide bars sit. So what you want to do is slide them over the tube. Do not glue these on yet, because you will have to adjust where they sit in relation to the slide bar. The rear cylinder cover, there's that one. That can literally just be glued on to there. You can put these on first or after. It's totally up to you which way you want to do it. So you fit, find the other one, you fit both of them on. Oh. If they don't slide on, just get a file, clean up the hole a little bit. It's not wanting to at the minute. There we go. So you now got two rear cylinder covers on. Now it doesn't look so bad with that tube sticking out so long. So what you want to do now is slide these back on. this one. I'll put that on first. Just double check it, make sure it runs lovely and smooth, like so. Right. So what you want to do now is put this to one side, is to get 2 of these, which are the slide bar holders. That's what I call them. I actually don't know what they're actually called. You've got 2 little notches there and there. You need to file them up nicely in the square holes. So 2mm square brass literally push fits into there nicely, making sure that it is flush back. Do not glue these on yet. As I say, file them up so they press in, not fall in, like so. So you've got 2 bars like that. So what you need to do now is, once you've done that to both of them, so you just push them in once they fold up. Making sure that they're flush with the shiny side of that, but these will be painted beforehand. If you don't want to paint them, you can leave them black, because well, they're black anyway. So what you do is you find out which side this one goes on. So you have the left and the right. So if you look at that, the slope on the top matches the cylinder. So what you do is you slide that under and very carefully is as you probably see, I can't get these on. These just needs a bit of a clean out. On here, you want to make sure that the square brass sits on the flat bit in there. If it don't, just clean that up a bit with a file or a knife. having a bit of trouble. Well, what you do is you line these up, the top and bottom, making sure that you file inside the front rear cylinder cover, making sure that the square blocks fit inside. Once you've got them straight, glue all this in position like so. I'll try the other side. They slugged in there. Oh, there you go. Much better. So you literally just slide that in. Fits in there lovely. You can see. And that slides up and down. Nice. Glue this in place with super glue so you know that these are now in line. Glue on the black plastic with the brass onto that part, and glue the two ends as well, and got yourself the slide bars, pistons all set up. But I'm not gluing them on now because this is going to be my dad's locomotive. He wants to build it, so I'm quite happy for him to do it. So you can see how the chassis goes together. It's very straightforward. So if you do get stuck in setting any of this up, it is pretty straightforward kit to put together. Right, so once you've done them, so I haven't painted any of this, it's all plastic PLA, is now you're going to bolt the rear end on like so. Two bolts. Bolts you're using are these ones. There's 4 in a pack. So you screw that down. Like so. So you have the firebox bolted on. So fit the motor. You have a 6-volt motor, works great on 2 AA non-rechargeable batteries. If you're going to run it on rechargeable, run it on 2 to 4, don't really matter. got a tiny little worm gear. Do not put this on yet, because you will not get it on. What you do, you slide under, put that in place, and inside there are 2 holes to align the motor. So bolt the motor in but leave it loose. Once you've got that in, you can then slide your gear on inside the chassis, line that up so it's nearly central. It's not going to be central just because of the way how far away the motor is from the gears, so it would be about halfway up the motor shaft. So once you've done that, motor's in, get your correct distance apart, making sure that the wheels do, when it's sat still with the motor in place, that you can give it a slight wobble left to right so it can move freely. So when you run the motor, it will run lovely. Now you've got, say, I'm not fitting the motor because you should be able to know how to fit a motor inside a gear chassis anyway. Is you've got your boiler, saddle tank and front. Again, paint this up first to the colour you want. These are black. You have a small piece like that, which is the hinge for the firebox, which goes on there. And also included in the kit is plastic parts for pressure gauge, a regulator handle and a smoke box door handle, which gets glued on there. Your choice if you want to use a round one or a straight one. So you've got a variety of options like that, so you can glue that on central. So as I'm not actually building the kit completely because this is my dad's model, so that goes on there, and so you glue it on, and you have got some rivet detail which come on a thingy, a little fleet. You can use all these rivets to go all round your saddle tank once you've painted it. Primer, glue these on one at a time. Yeah, bit time consuming, but trust me, it will look brilliant. So put the rivets on, detail everything on here. On the front you have a notch, and on the back of there is a notch at the top. Very straightforward. It slides on and it doesn't move, so you can get this perfectly level without having to mess around. Plus it's hollow, so you can put electrics if you need to. I do say on the bottom of this, as you can see here, I've filed, ground it away, so this can be removable if you put batteries inside, so you can take it on and off if you feel like it, because you can't, once the motor's in place, get this part off. But on the newer kits you can. I do apologise if you do get the old kit, but it does make it a lot easier anyway. If this was still on, this can then just be come off with 2 screws rather than 4. So what you do is you clip that onto place, slide that over So voila. And then you put 2 screws which are at the bottom, as you can just see there and there. These holes are not slotted, the new ones are all been slotted just in case it doesn't line up. So it makes it a lot easier to get this lined up. But as you can see, within 30 minutes I've actually got the locomotive together. You have a little tank filler which basically just literally gets glued on the top. If you want a different style, there will be one available soon. So when I do the cabbed version, does have a bigger dome. So that is stage 1. I will do another video for stage 2 in a little while. Cheers.